a couple miles away from the Air Force Academy, United States Air Force Academy, which is also a really big tourist attraction. And Denver, I mean, the Mile High City. Lived in Denver for about 8 years, and beautiful city. Love it up there. For someone, though, that wants to be an urban homesteader, it was just a little bit too crowded for me. But I definitely recommend, if anybody ever wants to take a vacation out here, check out the spots. I mean, there's just so much to do. There's whitewater rafting, there's mountain climbing, there's hiking galore, there's things for kids to do around here, and it's just it's a really a great spot, I think, to raise a family and to just enjoy nature.
Yeah. I apologize, but I was having issues with StreamYard. It would just kept spinning.
Oh, okay.
I probably have those issues. I don't know what exactly was going on. But for those of you that don't know what's going on, I have Fleetwood Patch here. He moved from Elyria, Ohio to Colorado when he was younger.
Okay.
And we're talking about tomatoes and how they don't really have hornworms or anything like that because their environment is so dry, which is spectacular, by the way. I would love to. But we haven't really had a whole lot of issues with hornworms here. Knock on wood. I don't know. We really haven't had that many issues because we spray with neem oil and stuff like that to get rid of stuff like that. And we started from the very beginning to get rid of them. But yeah, we don't really have that many big issues with hornworms and stuff like that. Not yet anyway. I'm sure this summer will. And yeah, of course, I've shed wars this year. So this is going to be the year that I get every bug.
It's Murphy's Law, you know that.
Yeah, exactly. But so Colorado is absolutely gorgeous, and I've always wanted to go there. I'm very interested in the environment. I think it's like it'd be a beautiful place to like vacation, I think. Oh, I'm not really into skiing, but I would be more like into like hiking and seeing the mountains and like, you know, because I'm not a big skier. I know that Colorado is like, it's ski country and they have like a lot of ski resorts and stuff like that. And I went snowboarding a long time ago. And it was like horrible.
I've never spent so much time on my butt in my life as I have on a snowboard.
It was horrible. I will never do it again. My butt was so sore the next day.
I know. It was like riding a horse.
Yeah. It was horrible. So not to mention the thing is
one time
I couldn't stand that. You couldn't walk with that. And then those boots. Oh, I hate those boots. My calves hurt so bad from the stinking boots.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. At least I agree with that.
And the ski resorts actually are pretty far away from us. I think probably the nearest one to us is probably a good hour and a half away at least. But yeah, I mean, it's if you come to Colorado, it's almost impossible not to at least drive up into the ski resorts, whether it be during the season or off season even.
Yeah. You almost have to like, maybe I would go just so I can like see it because, you know, you only go to, when you can get to Colorado. I don't travel that much, but you know, maybe I would go just so I can see what it's like and experience that. But I'm more into like the nature part of it. Like
the nature is extraordinary.
Yes, the mountains and just I would take my camera and just have a heyday. Like I would have so much fun. So
yeah. I mean, funny you mentioned that. We actually get a lot of deer in our area that walk by, and you know, a lot of people will see that, I'm sure, in their areas as well. But we actually had an instance last year where we had a neighbor send a text to us, and we looked at it, and it was a picture of the front of our house and a black bear that had gone right in front of our house.
Oh, buddy.
And that was a wake-up call. It just kind of reminds you of where you're really at and what's really around you. I mean, we can get around here. There's been, raccoon all over the place. There's even been mountain lion sightings about 5 miles away from where we live. So.
Oh, wow.
Here.
We don't have that here. Like, we don't have bears. I mean, every once in a while, like, see, we don't have bears so much here. Like, when there is a bear, it makes the newspaper.
Yeah.
Because we don't have bears. It's like, we spotted a black bear. It's, and so we just don't have that here. And,
around here, people are like, just don't feed it. You'll be fine. No, it's a bear.
but that would be very scary for me. Like, I'm interested, but I just want to keep. I like to have them on my property would like freak me out. I think a little bit.
Yeah, it sometimes can be. I mean, the lucky part is we're next to kind of a busier road, so any animals that do come around here, they normally don't stick around very long just because of all the cars running by. So
Yeah, yeah, that yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
Okay, so you guys, in case you haven't known, we have Fleetwood Patch here. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. He has a really good channel. It's heartfelt, it's beautiful, it's family oriented. And he has a lot to offer. So make sure you head on over to Fleetwood Patch. I'm sure Gil has posted the link. Yep, he did. It's a few people back, but make sure you head on over and subscribe to his channel. And check him out because he does have a lot of good information. I would do like to thank everybody for coming. I'm sorry, we had like an instance in the beginning where my StreamYard would just kept spinning, so I don't really know. It might have been my computer, but thank you all for holding on. And Frogfoot Holler, Bomber Steve, Gunslinger Outdoors, The Best Life. Thank you all for coming and checking this out. So, let's see. I'm going to offer questions, but I'm going to do it later on in the show. So if you do have any questions for Jeremy here, you can do so, say around 10 o'clock. So we'll do it then. Okay, so let's talk about the weather there. It is really cold. Like, what is like your average temperature for like the winter time there?
You know, it really can fluctuate. Depending on the month even. I mean, February, when the big Arctic blast hit most of the country, we obviously we weren't spared by it. We definitely got snow, but the temperatures are what got pretty extreme. We actually had a morning where I woke up and the temperature was -15 outside. And I think it warmed up to -5. So yeah. So, but amazingly, I mean, the chickens out in the yard, they did great. They did absolutely fantastic.
That's good. Like, that's another thing I wanted to get into and talk about with you is the chickens in your, like, is that all you have is chickens as of right now, or?
For now.
Ooh. But I'm just curious, like, okay, we get really cold winters here. We get lake effect snow from Lake Erie and stuff like that. However, your kind of cold is completely different because it's mountains and stuff like that. I was just curious how your livestock actually makes it because it is so cold. Do you have to have heaters or you don't do heaters? How does that work for you?
Absolutely do not do heaters. We did a lot of research on this before we even got chickens because we knew the winters here were going to be bad. So we wanted to at least prepare for that and see what we needed to do. We went on YouTube. There were actually a lot of people that had chickens that were living in Alaska, of all places. And you want to talk about cold, that's like they invented cold. Yeah. My wife actually used to live in Alaska for a short period of time. But a lot of them did not use heaters. And the reason for that is because if you're outside, say you're outside in the cold, okay, and all of a sudden you come inside to get warmed up, you get all nice and toasty. When you go back outside into that cold again, it's a little harder to take. And I know that may sound psychological, but it's a little more difficult for the body to take. So you're talking about creatures that have lovely, these beautiful feathers that are just so thick and keep them warm. The key to actually having them thrive in those conditions is making sure that they have plenty of bedding. So we do the deep bedding method and making sure that there's plenty of ventilation. Reason for the ventilation is because at night when they're up there on their perches, they're in their coop, their droppings are still coming down. I mean, they're just poop machines. They're going to come down constantly. Yeah,
they poop every 15 minutes. I swear.
Absolutely. So what's in that poop? You got moisture in that poop.
Yeah.
So over time, you get all that moisture that starts to build up in there. Now, if you got them all closed in, not only is it going to be cold, but it's going to start to get humid. And as you know, out in Ohio, humid cold is bone chilling.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what can happen to those
Yeah.
girls.
I totally understand that. Like when
Yeah.
it rains and it's freezing cold here, it's
Mhm.
like you can't shake that.
Oh, no way.
It freezes me to the bone. Like
Yeah.
I can't handle that. So
So we actually had a window that was open. I mean, we had them open to the elements. I mean, not totally exposed, but there was a little window that was open there. And, you know, the coop is drafty. We wanted it that way by design. And I think they did just phenomenal.
yeah.
-15. Wow. I mean, that's hardy.
Yeah. That is. That is because I think the lowest I've ever seen the temperature, and it's like dangerous at -2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that's like really, I mean, that's really what we do, like how low we go. I don't think I've ever seen it. I know there's been a couple of times, like when I'd start my car to go to work in the morning or whatever, and my car would tell me it's like -2. And that's like the lowest I've ever seen it. And wind chill factor is a little bit different. When the wind blows, they say it feels like -15 or something like that. But it's never truly that temperature, you know?
Yeah, and I think one of the big differences that you guys have that we don't have here is the humidity. I mean, the humidity here, I mean, it's almost non-existent. I mean, you can have a snow coming down and the humidity's 10% outside. It's just it's bone dry.
Yeah.
So being in the cold when it's really dry versus being in the cold when it's really humid, totally different. I think 15 below for you guys would be way worse than what 15 below would be here.
Yeah. Thanks, Darren, for coming in. I really appreciate it. I know you were super, super busy today. So I really appreciate you coming in, dude. So appreciate it, guys. So yeah, we're here with Fleetwood Patch. I freaking absolutely love Jeremy. I love his videos, and not to mention he's just a fun guy. He's just a fun dude that, you know, yeah. So super cool. But I seriously could talk about chickens all night, so I have to learn to control myself a little bit. But I'm really interested. That I know somebody had asked a question already, but I was planning on asking that question anyway. Is how do you keep your eggs from freezing? Because up until that time when we had that really icy cold patch, we didn't really have freezing eggs until that really cold weather came in, and then we had frozen eggs.
Sure.
So you have that weather pretty much almost all winter long. How do you keep your eggs from freezing?
I'll be honest, we probably check our egg basket at least 3 times a day.
Okay, so you hurry up and grab them before.
Yeah, because definitely if you let them sit in there all day, you'll definitely find some frozen eggs in there.
Yeah.
I mean, even with a deep litter method and all the insulation in there, they're still going to freeze. So constantly checking an egg box is just a must for us this time of year.
Yeah. What is your big time predator of your chickens?
Raccoons.
Raccoons, yeah.
By far. We used to have 8 chickens when we first started off. And we got 4 barred rocks and 4 Easter eggers, which love those. Those are my favorite. And by the time we had moved them out to the run and into the coop and everything like that, we actually had the front door on the coop kind of came off the latch. It was a shoddy coop to begin with. So the door came off, and I'm like, you know what? I'll get to the hardware store sometime this week. I'll get some hinges. I'll get it repaired. And I put a piece of plywood in between there and kind of wedged in between the run.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, so it'll stay in between there. Everything should be fine. Well, about 3 days later, I had come downstairs. It was a Saturday morning, and I walked over to the door, looked out, and I saw a chicken that was walking around. And I'm like, why is there a chicken walking around? I had walked over to the coop, and what had happened was the raccoon literally had pushed that plywood out of the way, squeezed his way into the coop, and actually got 2 of our girls.
Oh,
So,
that's gonna make you sick.
oh gosh, I mean, and I'm just sitting there feeling like the worst chicken owner in the world, going, "What the heck have I done?" And obviously feel a little personally responsible for that. Got it fixed that day for sure. That's something we didn't want to mess around with anymore. But raccoons are definitely something I think that are one of the biggest chicken predators that I've seen out in this area for sure.
Yeah, I mean, really, to be quite honest, they're a pain in the ass.
Oh,
Not gonna lie. Like we've had yeah. We've had issues too. Like they don't get in our coop. They try to. Like we had one maybe like 3 or 4 months ago, and it tried to get in the coop, and we have insulation up, and we have our chickens in a stall in our barn, and we modified the stall to have the chickens. So everything in that stall is we have hardware cloth like buried in the ground,
yes,
and stuff like that, and like there's things that are reinforced. But we have one specific wall where in the summertime we pull down the insulation and it's nothing but hardware cloth. So they get a nice breeze and whatever in the summertime in there. But in the winter we cover it up with like thick insulation.
Sure.
So we covered it up this time, but I had a raccoon that like just literally tried to demolish that insulation trying to get in there. We did catch it. We caught it in a trap, but because we knew he was sneaking around because he had gotten a couple of my ducks, which I was not happy about. That's why my ducks are put up now, because I was just letting them free range and doing whatever the heck they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because I love that. I love ducks eat a lot of bugs, and I love when they're out and about. And sometimes I put them in the backyard with me when I'm gardening, and you can just see them. They go quack quack quack, and they eat like bugs and all different kinds of stuff. And I love that. But then like I can't have a raccoon just eating them. Like I hate raccoons.
Yeah. The thing I hate the most about them is that they normally don't kill chickens to eat them.
No.
They kill them just to kill them. I mean, not to get too graphic, but we actually had one that was literally just decapitated that was sitting in the middle of the run. And I'm like, really? You didn't even want to eat them? You just wanted to kill my chickens? So we kind of, we were a little upset about that one. And
oh, completely. And it makes you sick to your stomach. Like I've had and stuff take my little but I have Polish hens, and sometimes they're really dumb and they don't go in at night. They can't see because they have that big old fluff, and like they're super dumb. And sometimes I had 2 Polish hens that just would not go in at night, and I have an Amish buggy in my run, and they sit on that at night. And I'm like, you can't sit there on there at night. Like an owl's gonna come and take you away.
Oh yeah.
And it did. It took a couple of mine. So I have one black and white Polish left, but I have other Polishes, but I just those black and white ones are so stinking cute, but they're kind of dumb. Yeah. Like they're a pet chicken, basically,
Yeah. We took it a little personally when we found out about the lovely trash panda, and we all of a sudden turned into this mafia family, and we started going, okay, we're going to get this guy tonight. We actually took a page out of one of our favorite comedians, Sebastian Maniscalco, and we decided to make him a little sandwich for that night. And we wanted to put a little antifreeze on some bologna for that guy. And I'm like, okay, this is gangster. That's how you get it. And he never came back.
Oh, that's good.
I'm like, oh man, never got a chance to get that thing.
Yeah. Well, they're so annoying. Like they're destructive too. They'll get into anything and tear it up, trying to get to your animals too. Even if they can't get into it, they destroy everything trying to get to it. So they're obnoxious. Yeah. So any chance that we get, I know we're not supposed to just pick them off, but we do because they're harming our livestock. There's specific rules here in Ohio about what you can kill and how you can kill it and whatever. But I'm sorry if you're eating my livestock.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
okay.
Yeah.
You're fair game at that point.
Exactly. Hi, Keto Homestead with Jess. Thanks for coming in. I don't see anybody. Oh, CJM Farms. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us tonight. And oh, my husband said the raccoons killed 8 ducklings on, yeah, we had, okay. I got to tell you this story. This is horrible, right? So we knew one of our ducks was going broody. And to protect her, we put her in this wire cage. We like placed the wire cage over her because she was sitting on all these eggs, and we didn't want to move her because we were afraid if we moved her that she wouldn't sit on the eggs anymore, because you know how fickle animals can be. So we left her in this wire cage, and we thought it was room enough to, like, if anything tried to grab her or take her, like they wouldn't be able to get to her because she was in this cage, and we're feeding her watering her and everything while she's in there. It got down to it, right? And it was like, I forget how many days it takes to hatch duck eggs. I think it's like 22 or 23 days or something like that. So she was sitting on him and whatever. A raccoon literally like went in and like hand grabbed through the cage and killed like all the babies. Yeah.
Okay.
They're nasty. After that, I usually thought like I'm like one of those people like I'm one with nature, and you know, and I usually respect all animals, and I really do. I love foxes. I love owls. I think owls are absolutely gorgeous. However, I take care of birds, and these birds are mine. And like I cried because I was so upset because there was like 10 eggs underneath her, and they hadn't hatched yet, but they were almost there. They were almost there, and the raccoon got the eggs.
And you know, you can't help but get a little primal at that point.
Yeah.
You want a little bit of revenge out of that lovely raccoon.
Exactly. It just makes you so mad.
Yeah.
But, oh, Dr. Pepper, it says, my niece is with me and you'll be having a new subscriber. Oh, well, thank you so much. Oh, Thorhaven Farm in the house. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. We are hanging out with Fleetwood Patch. This is Jeremy. And we're talking about chickens. We're basically talking about his life in Colorado. And I do have some questions to ask you. Do you know Roots and Refuge Farm? Like, how did you... I've noticed that you've been noticed by them. So how did that come about? I'm just curious.
So I'll be honest. I mean, it was just by pure accident that I had posted a video about gardening during COVID. And, you know, I didn't really think much of it. I wasn't trying to make a big production out of it. And the next day I logged in and I saw that I had a comment from Jess at Roots and Refuge Farm saying, this is a really great video. I like, you know, just was a lot of good and just stuff that really built me up, made me feel good. And we had kind of, I went on to their page, Roots and Refuge, Friends of Roots and Refuge, and, you know, was able to kind of chat with her and her posse there, and went on to her live that following Sunday, and she was super generous enough to actually post a link to my page, which took my subscriber count down to here, up to here.
Oh, wow. That's so cool because, well, Jess and Jeremiah are like super nice people. Like, I've never met them before, but like you could just tell by their videos and stuff that they're just like down to earth, like super nice people. And I'm so glad that they did that for you.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people that have a whole bunch of subscribers, they can get arrogant and nasty and like won't do anything to help the little people. And like, that is so amazing that they did that for you.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that really separates a lot of these really big homestead channels and why they've kind of stood the test of time on YouTube is they're still humble, and you know, they're still aware of everybody else that's out there that's just getting started as a homesteader or maybe getting started as a channel. And I just thought that was very, very big class act.
Yeah, completely. I saw that on there, and I was so proud of you guys. Like, I was just happy that you got recognized and noticed.
Blew me away.
Super cool.
Yeah, I geeked out.
Yeah,
geeked out.
You know, I'm a huge fan of Terry King's gardening on a budget.
Yes.
And I didn't know that he was in Shed War. Like, I'm an airhead sometimes, you know. I try not to be, like, do try to hide it sometimes. But Like, I had no idea he was in Shed Wars and stuff like that. And I was like, when I found out he was in Shed Wars, and then now he started commenting on some of my stuff, and like, I was just like, I got,
Yeah.
like how you geeked out with Roots and Refuge.
Hello.
I got geeked out too, I was like, oh my God. I completely understand where you're coming from. So, but, yeah, so cool.
Yeah. Having your favorite celebrity just say, hey, nice job. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so cool. So, okay, I am super Irish, so this is just so on a limb here. So, what is the, like, you have all this Irish stuff? Like, what's this about? Tell me.
Well, my wife's Irish. I'm Irish. I got to tell you a really quick, funny story. We actually had somebody in here the other day fixing our garbage disposal, and I mean, he's looking at this and he's looking at this, and we have Irish decor all over the house. I have my Irish shirt on. The guy looks at me dead in the face and says, "Are you Irish? What tipped you off?"
Yeah, really?
So, but yeah, I mean, my wife's Irish. I'm Irish. It's kind of on our bucket list to make sure we can get out to Ireland. We were actually supposed to go out to Ireland about a year and a half ago. Well, no, it was close to a year ago. It was right before COVID hit.
Yeah.
We were ready to go, and COVID hit, and we went, bye Ireland. I hope we can see you someday.
Hard. And like my stepdaughter got accepted into a college in Scotland. And she wanted to go so bad, but she's so afraid to go. And so she changed her mind now because she's afraid if she goes over there with all this COVID, and they're on super lockdown because you can't even go to another county over there. So she decided that she's afraid that if she goes over there, she'll get stuck there because she won't be able to fly back home or something. So she decided to go to somewhere here locally. Or I think Ohio State is another
Nice.
She's thinking about. Yeah, but I was really trying to influence her to go because that's an experience of a lifetime. And to do something like that, but she's so afraid that if she does go over there, she's going to get stuck over there, and that's not something because it's already expensive. So she got stuck over there.
Yeah, that's a very real.
But it would be really, she's already been to Scotland and all those places. Like, she traveled with school and stuff like that. And
great.
That's something that she's interested in and stuff, but she just, I kind of understand where she's coming from too. So, but it kind of sucks right now with everything that's going on and travel, and
hopefully we'll be seeing some light at the end of the tunnel soon.
Yeah. I mean, it really has ruined a lot of plans for people,
Oh my God.
Not like it's going to work around your plans because it's not a pandemic, for God's sakes.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at all the cases here in the States and us flying over to Europe, and I'm sure Europeans got to be looking at us going, what are you doing here? Don't bring that here. Don't bring that here.
Right. So yeah, me and my husband is Scottish. His mother was a Sutherland. Yeah, and he knows his kilt, like his kilt. I think is like purple and something. I forget what the pattern.
He has a kilt.
Yeah, he has one.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, and I bought him one. I bought him at we used to go to all the Irish festivals. Ohio has really big for all of that, and there's one specifically in Berea, Ohio, that has like they have a huge Irish festival, and we used to go to all them. And I bought him an Irish international kilt. Oh, even though he's Scottish.
Yeah.
But I traced my history. Like, I have like some lineage in Kerry. And stuff like that. So I think that's kind of cool. I would like to learn more, but I just don't have time right now. But I did like my 23andMe, and it told me, that I have a lot of like DNA in those areas.
Someone once told me that a lot of people that immigrated over from Ireland, the two states that they went to when they came to Ellis Island, the two states that they wanted to go to was Pennsylvania and Ohio, of all places.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, my great grandmother, she was Irish. She obviously lived in Ohio, so I find that interesting. There's actually probably a lot of us green bloods still living in Ohio.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them worked on the canals. We have a huge canal system here in Ohio, all the way from Cleveland to Canal Fulton to, to southern Ohio. So they had a huge canal system.
Huh.
A lot of the Irish came over here and they were workers and they worked on the canal and they used to get paid in liquor. Yeah. So there's a huge history there about Irish immigrants coming to Ohio and working on the canals and stuff. So it's fascinating stuff. I'm a huge history dork, so I know
Building a canal, BYOB.
Yeah, but yeah, it's fascinating stuff. But okay, we're running on 10:07, guys. So let's open up the chat. If you have questions, just do it in all caps so we can read it. Yeah, let's open it up so we can ask Jeremy some questions here. So cool of you to be on my show, and I really appreciate you doing this. I knew it would be a fun night because you're a fun person. So I appreciate it. Oh yeah, the potato famine was a big one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A part of the old canal is in Rogers, Ohio. Yep. Yeah, there's a lock down there. Smithwick's is our favorite Irish beer, and I like. Have you ever? It's not Smithwick. It's Smithwick's. Have you ever had Smithwick's before?
I've heard of it, but I have never tried it.
Yeah, it's way better than Guinness.
What?
Yeah. It doesn't have, like, I do like Guinness extra stout. It's okay. But the Smithwick's doesn't have that. You know how sometimes when you're drinking Guinness, it has that aftertaste and, like, a
little bit of a bitter beer.
Don't have that. It's like smooth. It's a little smoother. So, yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I don't drink the dark beers anymore because I can't, but I really do appreciate a dark beer every once in a while.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, so oh, hi Jules, thanks for coming in. So let's see, anybody have any questions tonight for Jeremy Brown of Fleetwood Patch? Oh, explain to us, your name was not always Fleetwood Patch, right?
No. So
how did you change that? I know Fleetwood is like, is a band, right? Are you?
Oh yeah.
So you like?
So I mean, we had started off originally with Colorado Home Gardener, and and I thought about it for a while, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, we garden, but we're also going to be, getting livestock, and there's going to be other things that we're doing, like an urban homestead. So I don't know if we can really call ourselves gardeners, and we wanted to think of a really good name. And we had actually, it was about a month prior to that, we went and saw Fleetwood Mac in concert, which is our all-time favorite band.
Oh yeah, Stevie Nicks is like,
oh, the queen.
Yes.
I mean, she's the queen. Only lady in history to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
She's freaking
She rocks. So, but we were huge fans of them.
One thing I really like about Stevie Nicks is like the way she can write.
Absolutely.
She can write a song and it just takes you.
Oh.
It takes you somewhere. It takes you to that place, like.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we were huge fans, and I'm like, is there a way we can maybe put in Fleetwood corner, Fleetwood? And I'm like, what about like a patch, like a strawberry patch, Fleetwood Patch? And my wife went, oh, I love it. I'm like, I do too. And so Fleetwood Patch was born.
Yeah, I love that. That's so great.
So we kind of consider ourselves a little hippie in a way, and we kind of embrace that lifestyle. So we wanted to kind of carry it on with the Fleetwood name.
Yeah, I love that for you guys. It fits you perfectly, and you came up. It's like it's an original name.
Yeah,
my name is so generic. Why my name? And like it is generic. I'm usually a pretty creative person, but I couldn't think of anything else that tied the entire family together here, because it's not just my channel. You know what I mean?
How about like Courtney and her creatures?
Courtney's creatures. That's a good one. Okay, Frogfoot Holla has a question. How often do you change your deep bedding for your chickens?
When I had my old coop, we probably did about 2 to 3 months before we actually changed anything out. The new coop that we have now, and you can go back and see it in our videos, it's actually one that we picked up from Tractor Supply, has one of those slide out trays.
Hmm.
So, I mean, we still do deep bedding in that, but we tend to change that out a little more often, probably about every month, I would say. But when it gets to next winter, when it starts getting really, really cold, I think what we're going to do is just really stack that up on there, even with that tray. But I think 3 months, possibly even 4, would do just fine. I mean, a lot of that litter, you got to understand, it's going to dry up depending on what kind of bedding you have it in. We use hemp bedding, believe it or not.
Oh,
It's a
well,
little,
Colorado, they legalize weed, right? So do you have, this is completely, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but now
no,
I'm
you're good.
like, I know in Europe and specifically in England, it's legal there. So you get a lot of hemp growers. Do they get rid of their stuff for you, or do you buy it? Or I know in the UK and Terry King, he's always finding like soil and stuff on, like he says he gets it from the side of the road because once they use the soil and it's spent, he just takes it. So
Right.
is that the same for you guys, or?
No, I mean, actually, if I'm being 100% honest, it's just something that we order off of Amazon.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it works, I think, a lot better than most other beddings. It's a little more expensive, but it's extremely dry. And again, any type of humidity you got in the air, the humidity is just going to get sucked up into that hemp bedding. Yeah, here in Colorado, yeah, they get really even with the legalizing of it, they get a little touchy about who takes what stuff there, and
Yeah.
everybody's allowed a certain number of plants or something like that, and you can't overdo it. So
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah,
I was curious about that because I know, like I said, like in the UK and stuff, they can just take their spent soil and use it for something else. So it completely makes sense. It's recyclable, you know.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
not like you're like taking weed or something, but
Yeah, and I mean, not that I'm a pot enthusiast or anything like that, but what's nice about the hemp bedding is it's an infinite source. I mean,
yeah.
it's not like you're cutting down a tree or something like that, deforestation. I mean, it's out there, and I mean, it's something that grows quick, and it's something you can harvest pretty quick for that type of bedding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with hemp and stuff, you can use it for so many things. Like I'm think you can like make paper and stuff out of it too.
For
So
rope, yep.
yeah, all that stuff.
Hmm.
That's pretty cool. Oh, the best life wants to know, what part of Colorado are you in? He said he lived there for his first 38 years.
So I am in Colorado Springs. I am at the foot of Pikes Peak. If you know where Pikes Peak is at, we are literally right close to the United States Air Force Academy, and about 50-mile drive south of Denver.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
So Denver, we're actually higher than Denver. Denver's the mile high city because they're 5,000 feet above sea level. We're actually higher than that. We're 6,000 feet above sea level. So
Okay.
the thing about getting out to Colorado, if you're not used to the altitude can hit you like a ton of bricks if you overdo it out here.
Really?
Especially or hiking.
Yeah, I've never experienced that before. So maybe,
Oh, lightheaded.
yeah.
That lack of oxygen.
Yeah. So maybe when and if I go there someday, I will take it a little easy on the hiking.
Hey, we'll show you the good spots to go.
Um, I'm sorry. So in the danger zone, I don't understand what that means.
In the danger zone? Colorado Springs in the danger zone, or?
I don't know. It was a question, so I was reading it. I don't know. Yeah, the oxygen deprivation is a thing. Yeah. And it's something that you don't really think about either when you go to those areas.
Which is another thing sometimes, as far as trying to grow out here, why it can be challenging is you don't always have enough oxygen for certain plants. I mean,
No, that's something you don't think about.
Yeah. I mean, we're only about maybe less than 3,000 feet till what they call tree line, where nothing can grow above a certain elevation.
Yeah. That's actually kind of fascinating. I don't know. I guess that's something that, like I said, I'm from Ohio, so it's really like there's a lot of things here that we kind of take for granted. I guess you don't really think about stuff like that, and not everybody can grow, and because of things like that. So I didn't really think about it. But yeah, that is really kind of fascinating because I didn't think about oxygen really affecting plants that much, but I guess it does. So
So a
wow,
lot of times when you see mountains and you see that bare spot on the mountain, so
yeah.
that's what they consider tree line, and nothing can grow past that because of the elevation.
Wow. Yeah, I guess I did know that, but not really until you just pointed it out. That's kind of interesting.
Weird,
Um,
wild,
I'm sorry?
weird, wild stuff.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Okay, so let's see. We talked about what your favorite parts of Colorado were, and so like you do have a ton of family that lives around you.
I do have my family that's here. They're in Colorado Springs, but they're kind of on a different side. They're basically on the east side where the plains are at, and we're pretty close to the mountains. I mean, we're pretty much right at the foothill of where the mountains are at. Um, None of my family gardens, believe it or not.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah, I actually learned it from my grandfather when he was around. He had his garden and did it all his life. And I just kind of remember what he did, kind of what he grew around there. When we got our house here, we had one little raised bed, and I thought, maybe I should try growing something. Who knows? Maybe I'll be able to do something. We did a couple zucchini and did a pumpkin out there, and it was this huge success. We had zucchini for days, and
Oh, that's awesome.
all of a sudden we went, okay, I think we really like this. This is awesome. So every year it's just been kind of, how can we step up our game a little bit more every year?
Yeah. That's so cool. Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Now, every year you change your garden, I'm sure. Like for us, our garden is freaking huge this year. And every year we plan on adding on just a little bit more. How big is your garden now?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, the square footage in our backyard is not that big at all. We probably have, I'm willing to bet, less than an eighth of an acre uh,
Okay.
right now. But what we have currently, we have 3 raised beds that are outside. We have 2 cattle panel trellises that we use for beans and whatnot. In the back of near our fence, we're actually getting ready. I actually cut down some trees that were back there. They were just juniper trees, basically, what I like to call spider traps, because that's all that hangs out there are the spiders.
Oh,
But
okay. Oh,
so I took those down, and we're actually getting ready to drop in a bunch of compost and whatnot. And we're turning that into a tea garden. My wife really likes to,
awesome.
yeah, she likes to do teas. And so we're going to dedicate that area to her.
Yeah. This year I'm really into that. Like I'm going to be making all different kinds of teas. It's something that you don't really think about over the summer is like all the hot drinks you're going to drink in the wintertime, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm like, this year, I'm like, I got lemon balm. I've got like chamomile. We're gonna do, oh my gosh, we have so many elderberries right now. We've got
Really?
that we're propagating just from our one bush. And so I'm going to make elderberry teas and blueberry teas. I'm going to just go all out this year.
Nice.
So plenty of stuff to drink in the wintertime because
Awesome.
my husband doesn't believe on, turning up the heat, so it's always 65 no matter what. So
He's a man after my own heart.
so I need hot drinks. We have a wood burning stove because if not I would freeze to death. It's true.
Oh man.
I'm just gonna make a bunch of herbs and use those to make different types of teas. And I was praying that my lemon balm was going to come back. I put it in a pot. I should have transplanted it into the ground. A lot of times when you leave something in a pot, the roots get cold and plants don't like that, so they'll just die off. And I should have, I know it'll come back, but I don't know. And then of course my husband calls me brown thumb. So yeah, he's like, "Oh, Courtney Brown Thumb." I'm
Oh,
100% sure I killed my mint.
oh,
How on earth I can kill mint, I don't know, but it's dead out there. It hasn't even, like, I got rhubarb that's even coming up. And I'm looking at that mint and I was like, that's not coming up. I don't know what I did to it. I didn't think I did anything to it. So I have some spearmint seeds that I'm going to start because I'm really worried that I killed it off. And that's going to be like one of my main teas.
yeah.
You know? So, but I have horehounds out there and oh my gosh, that thing did wonderful.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really into like medicinal herbs too. And horehound is really good for you. And especially when you're sick. And so I got it to go to seed, and I pulled some of that. So I actually have my own seeds from last year, which I'm super excited about. So I was actually mailing some to Tammy Rebel Canners up in Michigan because I wanted some. So yeah, but I was super excited that I'm like, oh, I got this. You know, you get so proud of yourself when you can actually do something and you actually have the seeds of what you did so hard to work at, and you're like, oh, I got these seeds. They're mine. They're not somebody else's. Like,
yeah, and you could show those people and say, "Hey, look what I did." Yeah, and what do you think of that? Exactly. Yeah,
yeah. So you just get a little excited about stuff like that. Yeah, I am. But
that's why we keep coming back for more every year.
Yeah. So tell her I was here. Got to go. Oh, rolling. I see you. Mark, sorry. I was like, when I talk, like, I'm not ignoring anybody, but when I talk to people on here, like, I talk to people, and sometimes I forget. I'm not forgetting about the chat, but sometimes I don't read the chat near as much. So I'm working on that. So I'm sorry, guys. Healthy Homestead Chick, thank you for coming in. Doc P, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it. And Heartland, Heritage Heart Homestead, thank you so much for coming in. Fishes, you know I love you, girl. And yeah, so I thank you all for coming in and hanging out with us this evening. Fleetwood Patch is so freaking awesome, and so I seriously could talk to you all night about that. It's so freaking cool.
We need to get together and try our Irish beers. And
oh yeah, oh my god, maybe we can do an Irish beer night.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll do it like on StreamYard or something.
There you go.
Yeah, and we'll do taste tests and stuff, see how we like it.
I like it.
Yeah, sounds good. I like beer, so that works for me. Oh, thank you, Heritage Heart Homestead. Yeah, I'm not forgetting about y'all. There was a question earlier, Courtney. Okay, let me check. Let me see. If you wrote a question earlier, can you write it again? Because I don't see it. Oh, Ginger Ninja. Ginger Ninja is my #1 fan. Can you believe that I have a fan?
I love the name, by the way.
I couldn't believe it. She says, do you have a lot of wildlife going around or through your property? That's what she wants to know.
Yeah, so I mean, we get deer around here a lot. We definitely get our share of raccoon. We've had bobcat. We even had a black bear. Our neighbor actually took a picture in front of our house and texted it to us, and it was a picture of a black bear in front of our house. So yeah, we see our share of it around here for sure.
Yeah, I had a cousin that like would go to Colorado every year on a hunting trip, and like they would do the tent thing and you know, sleep outside in the wintertime, but he would come back with elk, like, and all this stuff. And it was like always like a big ordeal. Like they would drive out there and spend a week out in a tent and go hunting and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so my cousin would always like prepare their food and stuff and get it all freeze it and then put it in coolers for them. So they would have food for the entire week.
Yes.
It was always so much fun to like, I would love to have done something like that.
Oh gosh. I mean, growing up here, I mean, a campsite was like a stone throw away. I mean, it was impossible not to go camping.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's definitely fun. You just got to watch out for those lovely little critters that are out there at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Doc P wants to know what your favorite whiskey is.
Favorite whiskey, Jameson.
Yes, of course. It goes
Yep.
down so smooth. And that's like really the only whiskey that I can just do water with. Whiskey
Absolutely.
and a good cigar.
Yep.
Yeah. Completely.
Oh, I hear bagpipes.
Good stuff. All right, guys. You have any other questions for Jeremy here? We got a couple more minutes left. Yes, a true Irishman. That's for sure. So cool. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being in the chat and keeping it lively. So you guys are awesome. But yeah, my husband got me on Jameson. He always liked it. And for me, I didn't really care. I just did any whiskey. I did Jack Daniels or Jim Beam or something. But when you have Jameson, you just never go back.
Oh yeah.
Why the heck would I drink Jim Beam?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, one of my guilty pleasures, get some Bailey's Irish cream. Do you ever do Irish coffee? Have you ever had that? Oh my gosh. Bailey's Irish cream and coffee and just one little creamer packet of your favorite flavor creamer or whatever. Oh,
so
that's
good.
a way to wake up.
No, isn't that what they call they call them a hot toddy?
Kind of like a hot toddy in a way, yeah. But it's Irish coffee.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that sometime.
Oh, bliss.
Me drinking alcohol, though, usually I only drink a coffee in the morning. I am drinking coffee right now because I haven't. I have a late night tonight because I go over to Jess's after this. We do the pajama.
Oh yeah, yes.
So like, I usually don't drink coffee unless it's in the morning because if not, I'm up all night. So like, I wouldn't drink alcohol in the morning unless I had a really rough night or something of drinking, and then I might top myself off in the morning or something.
I'll bet if I could get you one mimosa, you'd change your tune on that.
A mimosa?
Yeah, have you ever had one?
Yes. But now I love mimosas, okay? But now I'm allergic to orange juice.
What?
Yeah. It's just a developing thing that's happened over the past couple of years.
Oh my gosh.
I have orange juice.
Wow.
And I thought maybe it was all the extra crap that they put in orange juice. So I'm like, well, maybe I'm just allergic to the phosphates or something else that they put in it. So I then started eating oranges and I was breaking out into hives.
Wow. That's interesting. Yeah. My wife actually is allergic to carrots. So we can't grow carrots.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's
all
weird.
Things.
Yeah.
I saw the carrot challenge. I'm like, I want to do the carrot challenge. Oh, wait. We can't really do carrots too much, can we?
Aw. Sorry. Well, maybe next year I'll change it up. Maybe I'll do the biggest cabbage or something like that.
There you go.
Something pumpkin or something. Something crazy.
Absolutely.
But I only wanted to do one thing because I don't want I don't want people to have to grow all this stuff because typically when you're growing large vegetables, you're kind of wasting it because it's not going to taste the same.
Sure.
Specifically carrots, after they get so big and stuff, they just don't really taste.
Right. It's bragging rights at that point.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I wanted to just do one vegetable because I don't want people to just waste vegetables just trying to get them so big, Sure. But yeah, maybe next year I'll do cabbage or something. Yeah.
Corned beef and cabbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting all Irish up in here tonight.
Oh yeah. That sounds good to me. All right. Well, I want to thank you. Time is 10:30. I do want to thank you for coming aboard with me. If you just want to hang out a couple of minutes after, we can chat it up for a little bit. Sure. Thank you guys for coming in. Make sure you subscribe to Fleetwood Patch. Yes, Gil, thank you so much, dude. He's putting in your link a lot. So yeah, make sure you hit that up and make sure you subscribe to Jeremy. He really deserves it. He's a hard worker. He does some recipes too. It's not just all gardening and stuff like that. So check him out. It's Fleetwood Patch. And yeah, so I would really thank you so much for doing this and being on my show. Thank you everybody in the chat for hanging out. Yeah, so we're just going to have so much fun here in the next couple weeks. We got so much going on. I think my next guest, Let's see here. Oh, my next guest is actually going to be Thor Haven. Have you ever watched Thor Haven before?
Yes, Thor Haven is actually
oh my god,
2 times on my channel, so looking forward to that.
They're just, I mean, there's one, Darren is so much fun, and his wife is so much fun too. Like, he'll be on my show, like we chat, like I do live streams randomly, but he'll get on and he'll talk, and then his wife is in the chat, and they're like like having fun. They're just a really fun couple.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. So they're going to be on my show next Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. You guys can check them out too. Make sure you subscribe to Jeremy, because he, would really appreciate the subscribers. And however, when you subscribe and hit that subscribe button, just make sure you go in and leave a comment, because if you don't leave a comment, YouTube doesn't recognize that, and they'll get rid of your subscribers. So just make sure when you do subscribe, get on one of his videos and give it a watch, and just be like, hey, I just subscribed to you. And so that way there's a comment in there, because if not, I don't want him to get all these people and then tomorrow morning they'll be all disappeared. So I've had that happen to me. So so I really want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Thank you, everybody in the chat. And we're going to end this. And don't forget, tonight is the pajama party over at Keto Homestead with Jess. I will be there. It's at 11. And we'll see you then.